Happy birthday, how to learn how to play it. Okay, today I'm going to be showing you how to play Happy Birthday. And this can add a lot of joy to birthday parties. And so it's very easy. Let's get started. The very first thing on Happy Birthday is we have to decide what time signature it's in. And it's in 3/4. Bumpa 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to figure out our scale or the key that we want to play it in. And I've chosen C just to simplify this. So we have it in the key of C, and I've written the C scale out. Now I'm going to, the melody line is going to come from the notes of this scale. And we'll be starting on the 5th note of the scale. So when we play Happy Birthday, we're going to start on the G. And I'll demo that in a minute. So that would be our first note for the right hand. And you'll want to play this by ear. So I'm going to start on a G here, and I'm going to figure it out by ear. Surprise. So let's say a student's trying to play this. They're not going to play. They're going to have to figure it out and move around until they can hear it correctly. And this is really good for their ear. Oh, that's not right. No, that's not right. Oh, there it is. So once they've figured that out, they need to play it through many times, so they're very comfortable with that. Now that would be good enough to play for a party. That would be fine. But maybe we could add some chords to it and left-hand accompaniment. So let's figure out how we would do that. So I'm going to go to my scale, and I'm going to go to the 1st note, and I'm going to go to the 4th note. I'm going to label it with Roman numerals, and the 5th note. On these notes, I'm going to stack them as chords, and your teachers can teach you about that. So space, 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 line, line, line. And this one, I happen to want to make it a 7th chord, so I'm going to add the top one. So those are my chords for my left hand. I put them here, and I've written them down there, and that's helpful. It's good for students to have to figure those out, and just they're skipping letters. These are all in root position right now. In the piece, however, I'm going to invert these chords. When I come to my G7, I am going to take out the 5th, excuse me. This one I'm taking out. And so I'm going to be playing G, B, and F, and I'm going to invert that to B, F, and G. And then when I get to my 4th chord, I am going to invert that as well. So that means I'm going to put it in a different position. Okay, so that's going to be written like this. So now I'm going to erase this. And so let's say I'm playing Happy Birthday. I'm going to erase all this for a minute. So for the student to figure this out, I'm going to take this out now. For the student to figure this out, then you can have them write that in. And this is a wonderful exercise to know how to read notes. So I'm started on the G. So I'm just going to put these in as dots. G, G, A, G, C, B, G, G, A, G, D, C. Okay, so that's the first part. Then I'm going to, I have to figure out the kind of notes there are. This starts with a pickup. These are quarters. It's going to be a half note. Dum, bum, 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 bum. Boom, boom. So this is all great to do in a class. It's great exercise. Okay, so there it is. Now I'm going to put my chords in here, and those 3 chords that we mentioned earlier are going to be used. So I'm going to be using the C chord here. So I'm going to stack this in. I'm going to make it like that. Excuse me. The first part's not going to have a chord. Let's just do this so that we're going to be lined up. Bum, bum, C chord. And then I'm going to take the 5/7 here, and then I'm going to keep the 5/7, bum, 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 and back to C chord. So that's how that would be, and this is how that would sound. simply played at this point. Okay, so there's some trial and error. It's good for the students to try to figure it out by ear. They probably does that sound right? No. How about this one? Maybe. How about this one? So they have to play it by ear and figure it out. They have a good enough ear to figure it out. They can start to hear when the chord needs to change. You're like, oh, you think that's right? So it's a really good exercise for them to do it by ear. I'm going to continue the rest. So, ba-da-da-dum. I'm going to do the rest of it so you can see it on here. So I ended on a G, G, then I'm going to go. So I'm just going to put that pickup in here again. Bum, bum, bum. Sorry, I can't sing today. Okay, you might just do them in as circles. So, bum, bum, these are going to be all quarters. Excuse me. So this note's going to come down, so we're going to make that down. It's going to be a half note, and then when you start over the piece, you'd have the pickup. So here we have, let's line these up right now. And I'm not trying to be neat by any means. I'm trying to pick up speed here because of videoing. So let's see if this is a chord. There finally comes our 5/7, or our 4, excuse me. Bump, C chord. Here's their 5/7 right here. This is where a lot of students get stuck. They don't hear that quick movement of chord. So now I'm going to put these in. I'm going to put it in like that. Probably it should go this way. And this is good for me to write too because it's just a really good exercise. These are C chords. These are going to be dotted half notes. See how this is all really great because I have to figure all this out. So let's see how that sounds. Let's see if I wrote the right chords in. I think it sounds good. So, all right, so that's your whole song. So that's pretty simply played. That's in the key of C, and they can have a lot of fun with that. Now, sometimes students want to embellish that a little bit more. So I'm going to show you, excuse me, I want to show you now on the keyboard how you can embellish it, and this is kind of fun. I mean, this is really what it's all about when it gets down to it. I think it's the most fun thing to do. So I can, sorry for all the movement here, but this will get you where we need to go. Okay. Kind of. All right, so now we've gone through these steps, drew out the major scale, we figured our right hand melody out, we went in and figured out our chords, we played the chords with our left hand, and then we had to figure out which chords went together, which you just did. If you want to play that in different keys, then you can have the student figure out the key that you're in, what the other chords would be, the 5/7, the dominant 7th, and the 4. And this paper shows that. And then I left some blank for the students to have to figure out their own. If you wanted, you could just put a few in and then leave the others blank, and that'd be a great theory exercise. Now the last thing is the embellishing, and I promised you I'd do that. So we could do this as blocked chords, and so that would be just like I was doing it earlier. clocking. Or the next one we could do would be a single note in the left hand with a blocked chord. It works. Or we could do what we call Alberti bass. Alberti bass. And in sonatinas they use this pattern. So we're going to use a variation of this. That's kind of fun, right? Let's see, okay, the next one is arpeggiations. So arpeggios are these skipping things we do. So a lot of times it's better not to play the arpeggio like you truly play it. So I'm going to omit the third. I'm going to play this higher just for convenience so you can see my left hand. I usually play this better, but I've got a camera right in my hand. So sometimes I do the fifth, and sometimes I do the octave. See, I've skipped the third. That's one of my favorites. You can do the left hand as octaves, and left hand octaves with full chords. And I'm going to do that with the right hand too. Let me see if I can move this camera a bit so you can see me from kind of an angle. Apologize, but the setup is just what I have to deal with here. Okay. I think you can see me. So that's another way. That's probably one of my favorite too. I added harmony in the right hand, so it gives richness. And then I threw in this one. You could do minor. Let's see. Maybe it's somebody's. They're not their 50th. Oh, that didn't sound very good. Put a major in there. I just play around with it, okay? This is improvising on the spot. Okay, and then you could do it in a different key, time signature. I don't have a pedal on this keyboard, but you get the idea. Can you guess which time signature I moved it to? You can explore Latin time signatures. You can do a 3 plus 2, 2 plus 3, which would be really fun for your class. Now, and the last thing I'm going to do is play it how I've gone through earlier and pick some instruments, and you can hear it. And that was a lot of fun to be able to orchestrate that. So then if you have keyboards, you could pick different instruments that they can choose to represent the melody and the harmony and fill in parts. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I didn't go into different keys, but that's really, really fun to teach transposition and composition and just changing it up. And this is really a creative part that we want to develop in our students. So good luck, and I hope you have a lot of wonderful birthday parties playing. Happy birthday. Thank you.